This episode of Third Man In is brought to you by Mariggs and Jacko. Mariggs and Jacko, Long Island's favorite DJs.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Still she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty, Scotty doesn't know.
This isn't where I park my car.
What's up, boys?
Hello.
We are back. What a week. We got some stuff to recap here. What an intro. Thank you for that, Mariggs.
No, thank you for the huge intro. Yeah, if I was aware I was getting the shout out, I would have played one of my own songs, but you know, we're all good here. No one's gonna disapprove of Scotty Doesn't Know. We all love that song. So.
I'll tell you what, they made a really great victory song a few years ago for Rutgers hockey.
I think we're gonna have to bring it back. It's just a fucking tune here.
Honestly, no.
I mean, how can you you're gonna win a game, you're gonna fucking pump TC&J at home, and then you're gonna fucking go out and slug a few brews with the boys, and how is Scotty Doesn't Know not gonna fucking want to make you run through a brick wall? I don't get it. I'm happy when I hear that song. If I'm upset, play Scotty Doesn't Know. You'll probably see me crack a smile. So that's where I feel on that song.
Drop. What up? How are you?
Yo, I'm great. How are you guys? Great HL grad party yesterday, you know.
Yeah, can we give a quick recap of that? I was not there.
Yeah, real quick recap.
Don't listen to anything Tommy says.
Yeah, so me and Trop will go on about that. I mean, we were on the team with 11 people. How many people did Tommy have on the team?
18 at least.
I think it was 18 in right field alone. I mean, that's
it's a right field. I mean, what do you
The Talvanos literally picked whoever they wanted, and then we got stuck with HL's fraternity brothers.
Oh, what up? Was that what is that? Sig Pi? I always forget his fucking frat.
Yes.
We'll have to call
Sig Pi. Sig Pi represent. Oh yeah.
Can't believe we just gave them a shout out on the pod, but whatever.
Oh boy, that's when you know. That's when you know it's time to start. All right, Mark.
All right, start it off, Mark.
All right, boys. Well, let's start off with World Cup. I mean, so France won the World Cup, obviously, over Croatia. I know Schropp's all over that. Schropp, I think you picked France, right?
I did.
Schropp, congrats, man.
Thanks.
I just don't know how Belgium didn't pull through, but
I want to build. I think we all want to.
You're the victor here. Let's do Schropp. You pick the winner. Let's have you do a quick recap.
Okay. Did you guys watch the game?
Yes, sir.
Now, I watched part of it. I need you to break it down for me. What was going on?
All right, so there is a little controversy around this World Cup final.
Oh,
because the VAR call. Did you guys? Murray saw it. I don't know if the Fishers did. So there was France had a corner. This is the third goal, the second France goal. France had a corner and it hit off.
It's 1-1 at this point.
Yes, it hit off of Perisic, Croatia's player. It hit off his head and then his hand, and then they went to VAR, which is the video assistant referee, whatever. And the ref called penalty. And I don't know, the handball rule is kind of shaky in itself, and then the VAR is completely new to this World Cup. So a lot of people are pissed about that. And then the first goal of the game, the France goal, was kind of bogus too, because Griezmann clearly really didn't get fouled, and then the referee called it, and then they scored on that goal with the own goal off of Mandzukić's head. So a little tainted maybe France's title. I'm not sure, but
that is the one goal I saw actually when I was briefly the own goal. I was briefly watching it.
That was the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, briefly watching that one.
I mean, I would say it was a little. Croatia at this point, I guess, is just very happy to make it to the final, and then France was one of the favorites, not the favorite, but they had a really good team all tournament, and Croatia kind of got tired, and then after the rioters, you saw the streakers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so after that, Croatia had the counterattack, and I feel all the momentum kind of just shifted. because like you can't like Luka Modric today, midfielder for Croatia, was just going on. He was like you can't keep comebacking. Like they came back from 1-1 or 1-0, and then they scored the second one. It's just like at some point it's just too much. And then before they played 3 extra time. The last 3 games they played were extra time games, so they played like more games than anyone else technically.
Yeah, so they played the most time. Now,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but looking at like France, I know they obviously won it all, but they were the team coming into this expected to be like, all right, they're going to be good, but they're up and coming, correct?
Yeah.
I believe they were plus 800 to win if you took them at the beginning of the World Cup. I mean, I don't know what the favorites odds were, but that's like, I mean, you don't have to lay much to fucking win on that bet.
Yeah.
So like they clearly weren't favored. Like they were up there, but they clearly weren't the favorite.
Schwab, who was the favorite?
Germany, I think, or Brazil.
Wow.
I think it was Germany as well.
Germany.
If it was the NBA, they'd be minus 450.
Oh no! Here we go.
And then they'll sign DeMarcus Cousins. Oh yeah, we got all of that. But
and that's our NBA talk for the day. Moving on.
But all in all, a great
go ahead,
tournament.
Rob.
All in all, a
Great
great tournament. Yeah. And then it leads to the bigger news of Cristiano Ronaldo signing with Juventus. Do you
Yeah,
want to talk
and-
about that?
yeah, like right before that, Tom, do you want to go over the picks we had? I know we had a little picks going on in the semifinal round.
You know, well, let's Schwab dive into Ronaldo, but real quick. So it turns out all 4 of us made picks. It ended up that me, Schwab, and Mariggs were each 3 for 6, and Mark ended up 1 for 6. So we
Yo,
each
boy.
picked,
Ooh.
Yo, boy, 1 for 6.
picked the winner, the over/under, and whether it would go to extra time or not. So those 3 factors in 2 games. So out of 6 possibilities, Schwab, Mariggs, and I were both 3 for 6. I was 0 for 3 on the first game, the England game, but 3 for 3 in the Croatia game.
That's
Not a big
huge.
deal.
That's huge.
I'm just curious. What was the one thing I got right?
You said the Belgium-France game would be over in regulation, although you did not pick the winner right. So good
I
for
picked
you.
Belgium. Wow.
We all picked
Dog
Belgium
and
except France. Schwab was the only one who had France. I was the only one who had
I only
Croatia.
took them because I liked Belgium. I only took them because everyone else took Belgium.
Schwab, don't
Oh,
sell
there you
yourself
go.
short,
There you go.
please.
Yeah.
Schwab new. All right,
All
so
right,
that's that. So let's get into Ronaldo here with Schwab.
Yeah, Schwab, talk to me about Ronaldo. What's going on? I mean,
Okay.
So a transfer is basically like, in other terms, a trade, right? Or like,
It's a trade with like a massive fee. So I don't know the exact. I think it was over 100 million that Madrid gave him to Juventus for. That's not his money. That's literally just Juventus paying Madrid for the services of the player.
yeah, okay.
So backtrack to Champions League final when Madrid played. Who the heck did they play? I already forgot. Anyway, they won. Oh, Liverpool. They won the game, and then Ronaldo was trying to just like, like I'm not sure. Like people were just asking him, just like there's always been rumblings every year of him leaving, and they're asking him blah blah blah. Like, are you gonna leave? What are you gonna say? He's like, I don't know. Like the time will come. Blah blah blah. Transfer talk. All these media outlets are going crazy, not sure what he's gonna do. So it leaks that he's gonna sign with Juventus. And then like blah blah blah, all this stuff goes on, and then he signs with Juventus, and like now like the whole game, like Ronaldo is one of the best players of our generation. So it's like, and then obviously soccer's not the biggest sport in America, but worldwide this is like the biggest news of this past week. So it's just Juventus is already one of the best team in Italy. So it's kind of just like ridiculous. It's like the all-star team of Italy, if you want to put it like, it's like the Golden State Warriors of Italy now.
Oh yeah, love that.
Yeah.
What is there any other big names on that team on Juventus? Is that like?
I mean, I don't know, and I don't know if you know them, but like they got a lot of good team, a lot of good players.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was interesting because, like you said too, I mean, through worldwide, it's obviously huge news because it's not as big in the U.S. I mean, U.S. for God's sake, to even make the World Cup. It's barely had anything to watch for, but yeah, I mean, so I guess we'll move on. I mean, was there anything else added to that? Did you want to add anything?
It's just crazy that Juventus went from like this. They were like a Serie A team, which is the league in Italy, and then they had like the scandal of like paying off referees, so they got demoted to the second league in Italy, and now like 10 or odd so years later, like one of the best players. They signed one of the best players like ever to live.
Oh,
So
they
it's
had
just
scandal.
it's a complete
Oh, fuck
180.
that.
Messi's
Yeah.
better. Messi's better.
Oh,
Yes.
there we go.
Wayne Rooney says so.
Oh, I saw that. Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
Not my personal opinion. I don't know soccer, but that's just the common theme. So figured we'd give our viewers the hot take.
Yeah, I think that new French guy, Mbappe or whatever his name is. I think that's the next Ronaldo. You heard it here first.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, oh God. Yeah, I'll try not to. All right. So we good on soccer, boys?
Yeah, soccer. Let's move on to the sport that we love and cherish.
That was good. Until next World Cup, right, Trump?
4 years. Maybe
4
we'll
years will be
have a little
so-
more money to spend on the show in 4 years.
So,
It's always the goal.
I
Yeah,
guess
yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna start off with the NHL and just the tragic death of Ray Emery.
Yeah, so we'll start with the NHL. Obviously, the sad news, I think it was yesterday. Ray Emery, the Razor, went to the finals in 2007 as the goaltender for the Ottawa Senators. Passed away during I think it was a boat trip or something like that. He drowned. But our prayers go out to his family because I know it's a sad day in the NHL. Because even a guy like that, I mean, not a huge name, but the NHL community just as a whole, all prayers go out to them. But
can't
do
go
you guys
voting anymore. Ray
I know,
Emery
you
and
can't-
Jose Fernandez.
I know it's just crazy because you never know. Like, and Ray Emery was 35. I think that was his age.
Yeah.
But you just never know with all this stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and just to cover him quick, I mean, probably one of the most feared fighting goalies to ever live. I mean, you want to say Hextall fought, but this guy would fuck people up. I mean,
This guy, like, I mean, they didn't call him the Razor for nothing. He was like, I remember all on Twitter and everything. You just see all these like videos now. I mean, I remember when he fought. I think it was fought Marty Biron.
he fucking
Yeah.
killed
Oh,
him. Braun was like, no.
it was a mess.
And then he fought a player right after.
Yeah, that guy's like, like he was the perfect Philly goalie too when he was in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely gonna be missed. You don't really like, it's not somebody you think about on a daily basis, but you hear something tragic like that, you're like, holy shit, like you really don't know how, when something horrible is gonna happen, you don't know who it's gonna happen to. So definitely some sad news in the hockey and the goalie community.
I have great memories of Ray Emery beating the New Jersey Devils at playoff games I went to back in early 2000s.
I'll tell you,
man.
that 2007 Senators team was sick. That team was low
That
key
team, should have won.
kind of loaded up. I guess the Ducks were probably more loaded, but still, that was a great team, and he was a big part of it.
Yeah, Jadir doesn't get the Conn Smythe that year, but they'll give it to him in 2003, whatever.
Yeah, you look at that, like, I mean, like you said, Tom, like even the Ducks were like pretty like stacked too. It's like, but I guess we'll move on to talk about the Ducks. The Ducks announced that Paul Kariya and Scott Niedermayer, their numbers will be retired this year. Niedermayer was only there for what, 4 to 5 years, I believe.
Yeah, he
But
played with Rob. They won the cup together, so that's pretty cool.
and Niedermayer won the Conn Smythe in 2007 when they won it. But obviously, I think Paul Kariya just stands out because he was like vanished from the hockey community, and then all of a sudden last year he got inducted to the Hall of Fame. I think it's just right to put him up first. And then obviously, I think Niedermayer deserves it too. But what do you guys think about that?
I mean, like you heard the crazy stories about Paul Kariya, his superstitions, not walking upstairs on game day. Like that's absurd. Like I don't know if you guys heard, him and his wife would get into an argument. She would just walk upstairs because he wouldn't follow her. Like he made a career out of playing in the NHL and probably was one of the more superstitious and focused players to play. It was too bad that his career was ended short by concussions. I mean, Scott Stevens probably had something to do with that. Let's go Devils. But definitely a good career, and both those guys definitely deserve to get their numbers retired.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Kariya, I mean, this is really the greatest of all time, I guess. Right, Mark? What do you think? Him or Solani, I guess you could say.
The greatest duck. I mean, you actually could argue that, but personally, I would probably put Korea up there.
Yeah. No, I mean he was like one of the original, right? Because Solana
He
came
was
over,
the
I guess.
original. He
Yeah,
was
he was
honestly.
sick.
Actually, he might have been the. Was he the first draft pick they had?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna fact check that, but he was definitely there.
He's definitely early. Let's get that out of the way. Definitely early. He finished his career as a point per game kind of guy, which is crazy because when he finished his career with the Blues, I think he was like in and out with concussions still, but and he was just a dominant player, and with his size, it's crazy to think about.
Right,
that.
he's not. Yeah, right. With his lack of size, there you should say
lack of size. Yeah,
he was a big guy, but he was flying around. He was really sick. He was a great leader too. I would say he's probably like one of the more quiet guys, but really went out there, led by example, and just his play spoke for itself. That's so well deserved banner raising for sure. We'll definitely keep an eye on that when this season rolls around. We'll be watching that.
Yeah, well deserved for both of them. So we'll move on to contracts now, because other than those storylines, so we'll talk about some major contracts. Obviously, number one, Nikita Kucherov. He just signed an 8-year extension worth $76 million. He's making 9.5 as an AVA or AAV. So low key, I think, you know what? I don't know if it's him. It's got to be his agent. That was such a smart deal by him. Because I don't know if you guys heard, but if you look at the tax rates and stuff like that, he's playing in Florida. So the 9.5 he's making a year, if you look at it, if he played in California, that's equivalent to $12 million a year. If he played in New York, that's $11 million. That he cashed out on this deal, well deserved, obviously. But what do you guys think about that, Dick? Do you think he could have got more if he went to the open market?
I mean, he would have got more, but what does more mean when if you actually start looking into the economics of this? There's talks about the NHL trying to regulate it, but where do you stop? It's a state by state basis. He's making the same money that Tavares would have been making in San Jose. It's the same equivalent. He would have been making almost the same exact thing, but he's making $2-3 million a year less because in Florida, what is it? No federal income tax. I believe that's the exact thing that we're looking at here. So you get to keep a guy like Stamkos, bring this guy on long term, Kucherov, and then you have Hedman and who am I missing? One more big signing. I don't know.
McDonough.
Maybe McDonough.
Yeah, they re-signed McDonough and they did Miller too. So that was like chunks of contracts.
Yeah. So you just got Callahan making too much money. You get that out of the picture, and then you're set free.
And this is all happening while the Erik Karlsson trade talk was going on. They were like, oh, are they going to dump Kucherov's contract off? Maybe. Like, that's an option. Like, they obviously was not the number one option, but it's regarding the salary cap. It's crazy. Tom or Schraub, do you guys want to be the third man in, jump in?
Schraub's always the third man in. He jumps in.
I don't know. Kucherov is a great player, so it's not like Tampa obviously didn't overpay, and he was like one of top 3 or 4 players in the league last year. They're going to be in the playoffs for a very long time in the near future.
Yeah, he backed it up. Like he wasn't just like a 1-year one-hit wonder. Like he backed it up. I would say 2 or 3 elite seasons in a row. Like elite. Like look at his point totals. So he's definitely well deserved. Usually at least for myself, after one good year, it's like, all right, that's a year, but like, can he keep it up? Kucherov definitely proving that he is one of the best players in the game. Would have definitely gotten paid. So great contract for him. He wants to be there too. He knows he sees the great team around him. And a lot of these pieces are signed long term. Stamkos, Hedman, McDonough. So he, a lot of money and a good chance to win. I mean, this team has to win, I think, in the next, 5 years for sure. And if they don't, it'll be disappointing, but that could be another argument for another day.
You definitely have to regarding Tampa Bay, especially because now you got these up and coming guys. You got Sergachev, you got Braden Point, who has established himself as a next probably Nikita Kucherov the way he's been playing. They got to sign them to long-term contracts and a lot of money. So it's tough. They got to win now when they can afford them all. But we'll move on to the next one. So we'll talk about a goaltending signing. This is a big one because he was a Vezina finalist. Talk about Connor Hellebuck signed 6 years, $37 million with an AAV of $6.16 million. What do you guys think about this?
Best goalie in the league. He is.
Really?
He is.
Really?
I mean, you're looking at just look at the final three. You look at Rene, he won obviously. Vasilevsky and Hellebuck. Hellebuck is the best formed goaltender in the league. He's pretty clutch for being as young as he is. And I mean, you got to give him more of a chance in Winnipeg, but he's the best goalie in the league right now. I think so. I had him winning the Vezina actually. Still a weirdo though. Just want to note that out.
Yeah, so
Yeah, what do you think? I think good contract for both sides.
It's a great contract. Yeah,
it's a great contract for both sides. I think I mean, I don't know if I would say he's the best goalie in the league at this point in time. He is certainly in the conversation. I want to say again, like I'm going back to my thing. You know, we're looking for consistency. This was his breakout year. You know, this was it.
Yeah.
You go before that, he was battling coming up. He's still very young, obviously, but he proved himself this year. That team in front of him is a pretty good team, but they needed some kind of stability back there, and he gave it to them. So I would expect him to be in the conversation for years to come. One day we'll have to do like I think that'd be a fun debate too, just like a goalie debate. Like who is the best goalie in the league? Because it's cool how you there is no clear cut answer. I feel like you can make a lot of arguments.
Definitely a lot of arguments.
Yeah, I think I got mine, but yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun argument for another.
We'll do that on next week's episode.
Yeah, we'll fit it in. We'll fit it in. But going back to the contract, I think like Tommy said, you said both sides it fits perfectly. You got 6 years out of Hellebuck for a good price. I think he's a Vezina finalist. He's going to be a top goaltender in the league. 6.6 mil. He's not making Carey Price or Henrik Lundqvist money, so you can still have some salary cap for the guys up front. Overall, great signing. I think that the Jets, once they re-sign Laine, following this upcoming year, I think that they have a bright future. They showed it in the playoffs. They lost to Vegas, but
I mean, they're in the finals if Vegas isn't if Vegas isn't a team, they're in the finals against the Caps.
I know. It's just crazy to think about that. Like Vegas. Like come
Who
on.
else? Because they wouldn't lose to anybody else. They're literally a new team. Like they literally were the second best team in the West. And
I know, yeah.
they beat everyone they needed to beat besides the one team that didn't exist when they were planning on getting there.
Yeah, and Hellebuck was definitely, like Tommy mentioned, I think he mentioned the same thing. He was definitely the last piece they needed. They signed Steve Mason coming into the year. They were like, all right, they would probably split going back and forth because they know that was the last piece. They had D, they had the guys up front if they were healthy. Hellebuck proved himself. Murray's, I'm with you. I was not a fan when they signed Mason. I was like, why would they do that? I thought Hellebuck was going to be the guy. He proved that he's a guy, and we'll just see how he does progressively in the future. But overall, great signing.
Yep.
We'll move on now, guys. I'm going to give you guys 4 contracts that were signed, and then I want you guys to pick. We'll go to each person. You guys are going to pick which one stands out the most, which one stands out to you, doesn't make sense, or so be it. So I'll read them off to you. The first one, Anthony Mantha, signed a 2-year, 3.3 average salary. Obviously, that's a bridge deal. And then you got you have Marc-Andre Fleury, who re-signed for 3 years, $21 million. That's $7 million a year. Elias Lindholm, who was in the Calgary-Carolina trade, 6 years, $4.5 million a year. And then Adam Henrique at 5 years, $5.82 a year. So, guys, out of those 4 contracts, we'll go online. We'll start with Tommy. We'll tell me which one stands out to you.
I'll let Trop go first. Trop, pick out of the 4. Which one do you think? I'll let Trop go first.
Which one is my?
Which one stands out to you? Yeah, Trop. I'm curious. I'll give you the pick of all of them.
Okay. I mean, I guess since I'm a Devils fan, I don't want to take this one away from Murray.
No,
I don't know
talking about Flower.
I don't know too much about salary hockey wise, but I feel like Henry kind of got overpaid. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah? You are 1,000% right.
I'm just saying, I'm
right on the nose.
He's a third line center.
Let's Trop one with this.
Almost
he did too, but not by that much. I don't think he got completely overpaid.
No,
it's definitely
not ridiculous, but it's like, yeah, he definitely got a nice chunk of change for who he is. Almost $6 million a year, and he's like on the Devils, he wasn't the best. He wasn't even the 3rd or 4th best player, right? I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But I mean, the Ducks need depth, so it's a good signing for them, and they got them at the price I guess they wanted. So
I mean, if you take his salary straight up, just to put this into numbers that we can process, he makes $75,000 almost a game.
Wow.
Sheesh.
So like he goes -4, takes 2 penalties. Yep, 75 grand. That's it.
Now, yeah, like let's brief on that a little bit. I thought he was overpaid. Tom said he was slightly overpaid. Mariggs, what'd you say? Overpaid?
Yeah, he's definitely over. I mean, me and Schropp, we've watched him. We're Devils fans. We watch him close. For 2 months of the year, maybe, he's like, wow, that guy's a top player in the league. He goes to the Ducks. He has that little bit of a spark, comes back. And then the rest of the goddamn year, he's fucking dormant. He's just like the most average player in the league when he's not playing well. And for an average player, I think shout out to Conini. He said it best. He's definitely Travis Zajac 2.0. He's overpaid, and in 2 years, he's going to be irrelevant.
And he doesn't have his old Windsor Spitfire teammate Taylor Hall with him anymore.
Yeah, so now he physically can't win.
Wow. All right, let's go. Mariggs mentioned Flower. How about Mariggs brings
Yeah,
up
I mean, Vegas has the most money in the league. It's just like, they can afford to pay him. He deserves it. He's the reason they were there last year. There's not really much more to elaborate. He is what he is, and if you gotta keep him, if you gotta pay $7 million to keep him, you pay $7 million to keep him. Like he's developed a fan base down there. They love him, and they got to start. It's not just a hockey team down there. You're building a culture. So, Tommy, I don't know if
agree.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was throwing it to you. I mean, I think that's perfect. I mean, it's a unique situation, I think, and like you said, they have the money. So, I mean, they, why not give it to him? It's a unique situation. He literally that team through most of that year. I'm gonna be one to say I don't think he'll keep it up. I don't think so. I'll be one of those guys for sure. Me and Mariggs will fight over that. But
well, you guys,
but they have the money.
Got me the nice jersey, so shout out to the Fishers for my birthday.
Exactly, you have a sick jersey, so I mean,
yeah, we thought they were going to be a last place team in that in the whole
exactly, and they were one of the best teams, and he was one of the best goalies. So three is perfect too. 3 years is perfect. I think he'll be up there in the conversation these next 3 years. He'll keep that team relevant.
He's going to retire after 3 years, I think, unless he gets like a
honestly,
year,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far that team goes. It'll depend on how that team does and stuff like that.
I mean, you only go like this at that age,
right? We'll be shocked if they win a cup, but if they have a couple more successful playoff runs, I mean, I think he'll be very happy with what he accomplished in his career.
Absolutely.
So we got two more. I'll leave Mark to talk about Lindholm since he's a Flames homer. But I'll talk about
relax over there.
I'll mention Mantha real quick here. Mantha. 2-year extension. So this is right. We're calling this a bridge deal, right? So like his deal right after his rookie deal. 2 years was interesting to me. I usually feel like you see these at 3 or 4. Only 2 years. Pretty good price. I mean, he really is one of their best forwards, I think. They have a lot of these young forwards who are just like looking to break out, but he's one of these guys who I think kind of broke out and is one of their better players. I think I expect him to be on the top line playing with like a Zadina, playing with like a Larkin next year. Detroit will struggle depth-wise, I think, is what their problem will be. But Mantha, I think, is a great size, great hands. He's a solid player.
He was like one of the only good players when we went to Detroit that on their team.
Right, he stood out, Trop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he was noticeable. Not many guys, at this point in time in Detroit, on that team, like stand out. Zetterberg.
I guess the only reason why I would think that. Tom, I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but I think it's a 2-year deal because they know the type of player he is. The only thing they got to figure out is his inconsistency. He's very up and down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess that makes sense. And he's got 2 years to prove it, I guess. 2 years to prove it, or I guess they'll, ultimately either move on or get him at a discount. I don't know. He's got a lot to prove, as does that whole team. So, should be interesting.
Yeah, like I said, the whole team's got to prove to them, but we'll see because they got to sign Larkin too. All right, so I guess I'll move on to Lindholm. Elias Lindholm, 6 years, 4.85 a year. This, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, it's a little much for a guy that just got 40 points this year. I think it might have been his first time getting it. He was a first-round draft pick. I know he was by Carolina. He just got traded to Calgary. This is a gamble for Calgary, obviously, because they need the depth, and he's a depth guy that they obviously traded for. They need to add him up there. They obviously think he could do it for 6 years. So I think it's a good term length and not too crazy, not going over $5 million, as long as he could be the 40-point guy that they're looking for.
Yeah, I think you nailed that, right? What do you think, Maurice?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's just you're trying to in the league, you're just trying to find players that fit the roles that you need, and I think he's a good fit. So I think it's not necessarily about the best players; it's about who's available and where do they fit into your system. So I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely. I think that's for the most part, it's definitely a gamble, but. Like I said, too, as long as he can put up 40-plus points as a depth player, under $5 million is a good price for him.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so we'll move on to a little more additional news. Obviously, we talked about Erik Karlsson, the whole trade discussion last week. Everything, it was like a roller coaster. Went all the way up and then just immediately died down. We have not heard anything. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but I've been shot out of it. I mean, I haven't seen anything, any updates or anything.
Yeah, it got quiet, right? On both ends, you have Karlsson. In the trade, just in general, I feel like that, him, and I think Pacioretty was rumored. It's going to be one of these things where it's just going to pop up, I guess. It's probably what happened last time. Like, it was pretty quiet, and somebody got word that, Yzerman, was having conversations with the Ottawa Senators, and it broke loose. It was all over the internet, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hold up, pump the brakes!" Like nothing's going on.
Yeah, they had Steve Yzerman with Thanos, the weapon or whatever it was. He had all the players on the stones. Yeah, the glove thing. Yeah. Thought he was gonna work the magic, but yeah, we'll keep updating, like especially Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Third Minute in Sports. We'll keep that updated as I've been tweeting out some of the contracts I've been signing. With the Karlsson stuff like that, we'll keep you updated. Now, lastly, for the NHL news, I know this is big. We did not talk about it last week. I think it came out last week. Artemi Panarin did not want to sign an extension with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and now they think he's going to walk at the end of the year.
I mean, you have to gear up to try and trade him then. You learn from the Islanders, please. Like, you need to go out and get a first-round pick or prospect and somebody else for him. I mean,
it's pretty clear that he wants out. And I don't know who it was. It was a big name, big analyst. It might have been Elliot Friedman or someone like that. Said that he wants to play near a body of water.
Yeah. Count the cities. Count the cities.
Close is Lake Erie near there? Does that not count?
It's not good enough. He wants a coast.
Oh, he wants a coast.
He's Russian. Okay. He's Russian. What do you expect?
You're right. Yeah.
Why is Kovalchuk in LA?
Anaheim.
Anaheim would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anaheim, knowing them, though, overpaying players, he'll get 18 a year.
Nah, dude, he's gonna be back in Chicago.
Maybe.
They always get people that they used to have back
when they're not as good anymore.
Yeah, Brandon Saad. Well, him and Kane were ridiculous, and then they traded for Saad.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process is there. I don't know if I have another Columbus note, but it's not related to Panarin. It is kind of, but it's more about his surrounding players. So I don't know if you want to tie that up before I throw that in there. I don't really have anything more to say about him besides, I don't think he's going to end up staying, and they should trade him.
No, yeah, that was for the most part. I mean, Panarin, I think you're right. I think they need to just trade him so that he gets stuff because he is obviously not re-signing. That's just, to me, it's just as clear as day. They need to get something from him that you can clearly get at least one or two first rounders for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good player. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up just because it was grinding my gears this week. There's another sports podcast out there we won't mention by name, and there's somebody in there who's never played hockey before, and they're talking about the Blue Jackets going to the playoffs, and I think when they played the Penguins, the person goes, Bobrovsky just fell apart, and I'm like, all right, fair point. You can blame it on the goalie once, I guess, and then whatever. They probably don't have the strongest team. They definitely don't have the strongest team around them. And then talking about this season, yeah, Bobrovsky was atrocious. And that's when I fucking lost it. Like, Sergei Bobrovsky is one of the best goalies in the league.
Okay,
and he makes ridiculous saves for that team all the time. The fact that you don't put a team around him is embarrassing, and the Flyers should still have him as a goalie. Like, watch that guy go side to side, like drop the stick and then go blocker right in the air. Like, the guy's fucking amazing.
I have to be that guy. I don't know what the other two think, but I'm gonna disagree with you, Briggs. I don't like Bobrovsky in the playoffs. Great regular season goalie. His playoff stats are atrocious.
I know, but like, so was Flowers. Like,
All right,
Flowers was the same thing.
I'm going to be the third man in here and settle this right now. You're both right. Both of you are right. He's one of the best goalies in the league. All right, this has to be said. He is one of the best goalies in the league. He has not been good enough in the playoffs. He has not. It's a fact. He hasn't. He is not the reason why they lost the playoffs.
Well, that's what the person made it seem like. That's all.
He is not the reason why they lost the playoffs.
I'm not saying it's all on him, but
I'm not saying it.
You want me to read you his stat line in the playoffs?
I know, because I know what they are, and they're not good.
I actually want to hear him. I actually don't know.
All right, so his career playoffs, we have it right here via NHL.com/stats. His goals he has total games played. He has 24 games played in the playoffs. 14 losses. I know that we don't really look at that, but we'll look at goals 24, 8%, 891.
I mean, those are bad numbers.
Not good.
those are real tough.
Not the best numbers. All right, so you know what? Mark's probably right on this one, but I don't like blaming the goalie. Figure it out, everybody else. Not always his fault.
No, I like I said too. I'm not putting all the blame in on him. I'm just saying he's not the playoff goalie I want.
Well, the argument was that Panarin's not coming back because Bobrovsky can't finish. Basically, that was like so. Like, I'm just.
But you know what? That could be a reason for the playoffs.
All right, yeah, no, that's good stuff.
Right,
How about this?
We'll
Speaking of goalies and blaming goalies, Mariggs, me and Mark had a little insider that Mariggs throws jabs at players in men's league. Oh, we got an insider. We got to talk to Mariggs.
Insider.
Let's hear it.
Mariggs, we got an insider saying in men's league you're throwing blockers at Pierce. You're throwing your blocker at people's heads.
Is his name George?
George.
I heard it was an average 3 blockers per game.
There actually is a story behind that, so I'd love to tell it. Thank you for asking. So it's like towards the end of the second period in a men's league game. It's real quick. And he like whistle blows, kid skates through the zone towards the crease and shoots it. Like,
can't be doing that.
Way after the whistle. And I didn't react. I did not react. I just like I put it in the back of my head and I let it go. So like the whole third period, I'm waiting for him to like skate by the net. I'm like fucking like itching. I'm like just trying to get him. Like I don't even know what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. Like I'm willing to take a penalty at this point. And then the clock is literally like 3-2. It's like the third period's ending. Shot, I save it, and he just like crashes the net real hard. Like it just like was a coincidence that it was the same kid. So I like grabbed him like this, and I pushed him, and like I wasn't throwing punches or anything at first. And then he's holding on to my like glove is underneath him, and he's got like his arm over it. So my right hand is perfectly free. So the kid got 3 to 4 blockers to the back of the head.
Nice.
And this is how I know he's a fucking psychopath, because he just lets go of my glove hand, turns around, looks at me, no reaction, just like skates away. Like, not fuck you, buddy, it's men's league. Whatever. His teammate comes over to me after and goes, "Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Listen, dude, like I understand that was uncalled for, but that was the same kid that shot the puck at me after the whistle in the second period." He goes, "Yeah, you're right." And I'm like, "I know I'm right." He's like, "Don't tell me you're right." I was like, "You just said I'm right. If I'm right, I'm right." So you know what?
Oh yeah.
So that's how that game ended. If you guys want to laugh real hard, the game went to a shootout, and that same kid scored the game winner. So.
Oh, boy. Terrible. Now, I'll tell you what, George was loving it. George was telling us he was dying.
Bro,
he was like,
I didn't.
Mariggs is so funny.
I know that kid. Like I know him now. Obviously, I did not know who he was before the show. Like before we started playing, and he's like,
geez.
so because then he was like, I went to St. John's, and he's like, I know your girlfriend. I'm like, all right, and then he's like, oh yeah, and I know ACAL. And I'm like, all right, like this is a very weird like.
We've come, small world. We've come full
So, like,
circle here.
we
That's
come,
all.
like,
Then I know Tommy.
if I didn't go to Rutgers, I might have met him through St. John's and then ended up through ACAL. And then still ended up at ACAL's house as a sick pie brother. How funny was that?
A parallel universe that exists.
We were destined to meet at some point.
Worlds collide.
Amazing.
And Strop, that's how I know you too. So love you there too, buddy.
So regardless, here we are doing the podcast.
But yeah, that's my story. Thanks for the insight, George. Shout out.
That's a great story.
Sometimes you gotta give a blocker when you gotta give a blocker. Nothing personal, I guess, on my side. He probably doesn't like me.
Great,
all
great
good.
story.
Great. Thanks for sharing. All right. On that note, let's get to baseball now.
Well,
Wait,
yeah, let's hop to MLB, yeah, because All-Star game, like literally.
Schwarber is in the final with someone. I don't know who. Home run derby.
All for the derby.
Schwarber's in the final. He's going to face either Muncy or Harper. Harper's up right now, so we'll see. Could Harper bring it home, the hometown guy?
Oh, God. Yeah, Todd Frazier brought it home as a hometown guy, right?
Harper's hitting right now. He's got 6 home runs
bombs.
with 2 minutes left. Yeah, he's hitting bombs, but he's still got to hit, 6 more? 5 more? That's another one.
Yeah, all right. So the game, let's just so the big news that like the game in general, I mean, they came out with the lineups and the starting pitchers were Max Scherzer for the NL, and then the AL was Chris Sale. Mariggs, can't agree more with that.
Do we see it? Free shirt Friday.
Schropp, tell me why isn't DeGrom the starting pitcher?
Dude, I know you guys are all Mets fans, but it's very obvious that the Nats got a home cooking here. Dude, what do you?
You're right. No, you're
What, they're gonna start the Mets pitcher in the DC All-Star game?
Fuck DC. Do they even have fans down there?
Nah, dude, they just became Cats
fans. It's not even a fucking state.
I
used to grow up thinking that Washington was just one goddamn state. I thought the Redskins played on the fucking West Coast. And now they're telling me it's a little fucking play. There's people that root for these teams. It's embarrassing. I hate every single Washington team.
Schropp, is anybody in like the NL or AL lineup that like stand out to you that are like, wow, like all right, they're an all-star, or like is everybody kind of like mainly expected?
Can I get back to you? I gotta look at it. Sorry.
Pause. Harper just took a timeout. He's coming back. He's only got to hit 2 more home runs in a minute and a half.
I got it right here.
3 more.
Shop's gonna be upset. The whole Yankee lineup's not in the lineup.
All right, there's 1
I
home run.
understand.
There's 2 home runs. He needs to hit 1 more to win. Right off the pole. And
Schropp, go ahead.
Read it off?
You just anybody that stands out to you.
Harper's in the finals. Sorry.
Stands out to me. Why is Machado playing short?
Because he's a shortstop. Shop.
Nah,
He said
dude.
that.
I feel like it's the AL looks pretty fine. I don't know how Jose Abreu's been doing, but there's not a better first baseman than him. I'm not sure. Jose Ramirez has been raking. JD Martinez. Trout's been a little bad the past month, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he was like great for a month.
No, he was amazing, and then just not being my Trout.
How about your boy Jose
NL?
Ramirez?
What?
Jose Ramirez, your boy.
Yeah, he's a great player.
He's the real deal, right?
Matt Kemp, career survival.
Schropp just went right over the Jose Ramirez.
No, I said Jose Ramirez.
He was like Tommy talking about Tribe. I'm going right over it.
No, I didn't know him
Ramirez,
before.
the real deal. Trump's got him on his fantasy team, I know.
Yeah, I do. Only standout from both sides, I think, is Markakis. I mean, only because it's his first All-Star game ever. That's why,
I forgot he's having a good year. Yeah.
Like the Braves, 2 Braves in there, so that's pretty cool.
That's gross.
Yeah, Jake got snubbed too, and my Yankees bias tells me that Severino got snubbed for starting. So. But
Yeah, no,
JT,
yes.
isn't DeGrom's ERA like 1.6?
It's
It's
like
good
what,
enough
six?
that he's a starter. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It's crazy.
On one of
Yeah,
the worst teams in baseball.
Speaking of DeGrom, did you guys hear the news that like all the reports come out because they were all talking to him during the media day? So DeGrom said if he doesn't get a long-term extension, then he's probably going to sign somewhere else for the most part. So if you're the Mets, what are you doing here? Are you
Give him as much money as he wants right now.
Yep,
all right, so
that's the
Maurice is
correct
all in
answer.
on the money. Yeah,
Hot take. But go ahead. I'd love to
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Mariggs. I'm going to be third man in. Sign him. Sign him. Give him what he wants. He's the real deal.
Can we take out
Rob,
insurance on the elbow though? Like, can we not
we
pay
need-
him if he gets hurt?
Yeah, we need elbow insurance on him immediately. Schwab, now I know you're a Yankee fan, but if you're the Mets, are you giving him all the money or are you exploring a trade?
Not all the money. I mean, the Mets, from my standpoint, are not that far. They don't play well, but they're not that far away from.
It's so nice. Putting it so nice.
Wow.
If they
They're
added a
not
few
good.
pieces,
They're not bad, but they don't play well.
if their owners just sacked up and bought Machado and re-signed DeGrom, they would actually be going places. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they're not that far away. In my personal, if everything goes right, Cespedes, Bruce playing well, but Jacob DeGrom is literally like the best pitcher in the MLB right now. So I would go all in on re-signing him. I know that he's like already 30 or 29. Not correct. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's
But-
30. He's 30.
30.
He was the oldest out of all
Give
those
him-
pitchers.
Okay, so give him like a nice 4 or 5 year deal. That's a nice window, I think. Like max like 25 maybe. I don't know if they'll pay him 20 to 25 million,
Is 5 years 120 million like far fetched?
I think that's honestly.
They should open the bank, especially because it's their own homegrown guy.
It's
You
their
know, it's
own
not
guy,
like-
like fucking Christ.
I mean, hopefully the new GM has some sense in him, right?
Who's that going to be though? Omar Minaya, lovely.
exactly.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Oh, but we have a lot of young
Um,
Dominican talent.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously as that heats up a little more, we'll talk about that in the upcoming weeks. And as the trade deadline is also kind of around the corner, we'll focus on that in future episodes. I know that Manny Machado, obviously, like you said, is a big name. But we'll wrap it up with picks now. With the MLB All-Star game, Tom, you want to take it from here? I know you had the stuff ready on that.
I can read them if you don't want. If you don't.
On what, the lineups or the picks?
The picks, not the lineups. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff lined up. So we'll each pick who's gonna win the game, and we'll pick the over under, which is 7.
I'll start. I'm gonna pick the National League, obviously, and the over. What's up? Easy.
All right, I will keep this written down so we have proof. All right, NL over. All right, who is next? Give it to me.
Schwab, go ahead.
I'll take the AL and I'll take the under. The past 2 All-Star games have gone under.
Yeah, always,
I don't know,
always time to change things, though.
That's true. I don't know. I feel like the hitters don't really show up.
Real quick, Briggs, give me we'll do a third thing just for fun. Give me give me the MVP of the All-Star game.
Oh, fuck. Bryce
AL
Harper.
and NL or just one?
Just give me just from the team that you pick. So
Bryce Harper.
All right, Bryce Harper, good pick. Schwab, who you got?
Trout.
All right, Mark, break it down. NL.
I'm gonna go AL. I think AL is gonna win. I think it's gonna go under. I hate to say because I like rooting for runs, but the pitchers are like the ridiculous. So
All right, so give me a MVP.
MVP, I'll go Trout.
All right, so you picked the same 3 exact things as Schwab. Are you kidding me?
Well, who else am I gonna pick?
Aaron Judge.
I'm not picking Aaron Judge.
JD Martinez. Guy rakes.
All right, fine. I'll go
Oh
Martinez.
no, Mookie Betts. Come on. Altuve, dude. There's a lot of names there.
I'll
For
take
the love of
Martinez.
God.
I'll take
Okay.
Martinez.
Are you sure?
Yes, lock it in.
Okay, not the same exact Schwab. All right, I will finish it up. I will take the NL, little home cooking, the National Park, and has an NL homer. No, I think that both teams have really good lineups. It should be a good game. I wouldn't take the run line, -1.5 because it's going to be a one-run game. But I'll take the under. So Marie and Mariggs are different there. He took NL over. I took NL under. My MVP is going to be Paul Goldschmidt. My MVP. You heard it here. Guy's heating up. I'm a little biased because he's on my fantasy team. He sucked the first month or two, but he has been great. He looks like he's in the 3-hole for this game. Low key, one of the best hitters in the league. Low key, high key, whatever you want to say. That's my MVP.
Can I wrap it up real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to cover like two quick things. First thing, we were talking about this before. If you guys don't already know, we play or played hockey. Most of us, Trop, club hockey boys out here. We're thinking about doing like a quick segment on like hockey players, like what we do away from the rink. It's pretty much just stupid shit. Boys getting in one. Maybe a video clip or two. Just something ideas that we're going back and forth. And then second thing, real quick, gotta give a little shout out. A song that was written right here in this studio is now on Spotify, played on Hardwell on Air. So pretty cool stuff coming out of here. So if you don't already have it, add Other Side on Spotify. It's pretty cool, and Apple Music as well if you have that. SoundCloud if you don't prefer the latter two. But that's pretty much it for me.
All right, boys, are we all good?
Bryce Harper wore a headband for the home run derby. So
Yes, he did.
All right, boys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Any final thoughts? Good.
Oh,
Nope. Good outing, boys. Let's do it again next week.
There's still on the way out.
Yeah. I got you. I got to prepare for you. All right. We'll see everybody next week.
See you, boys. Oh, Mark got already.